Okay, spoilers for Hereafter. You might not want to hear this stuff if you want to see the movie and you don't want to be spoiled. But here we go. So you got Matt Damon here, who's a psychic, doesn't want to be a psychic anymore, wants a normal life. Apparently when he sees these visions with people, he can't have normal relationships with them anymore. He works in a factory, and he's going to a cooking school to be a chef. And he meets a girl there, and they like each other. And we think maybe something's going to go on with them between each other. But she finds out that Matt Damon is a psychic because his brother just can't keep his mouth shut. And he tells people that he's a psychic, and there was a phone message, and she overheard it. Anyway, she asked Matt Damon, to do a reading for her. So he grabs her hands, and we find out that, her mother's died, and also that her father's died a year earlier. And we find out that the father is asking forgiveness for what he's done to his daughter, so of course we can assume that he's probably abused her in some way. And this is what Matt Damon was afraid of when he does these things. It ruins relationships. And they were supposed to have a nice dinner together at the house, and she ends up leaving upset, but saying she'll be okay. They'll see each other in cooking school. She never shows up again. So there's another ruined relationship. And Matt Damon ends up getting laid off at his job at the factory, and his brother is liking this because he can get back into business with his brother, and he can open up his website and do psychic reading and stuff again. Well, Matt Damon doesn't want any part of this, so he runs away, and he goes to France. Now this is where the French journalist woman comes in. Now earlier in the movie, she was part of this tsunami, and she had a near-death experience, or maybe an actual death experience, where, she saw the people in a vision, and I guess they were dead people. And in the movie, these visions of the hereafter are only seconds. I mean, this is a supernatural movie, but we really never see much images of the afterlife. They're very short and quick, and there's not even much discussed about the afterlife. As I said in my other review, this is a story about characters and their emotions and how they search for the truth. Well, anyway, this French journalist, she writes a book, and she's doing this book signing at some kind of, some kind of fair or whatever, and Matt Damon shows up there. Matt Damon's a fan of Charles Dickens, so he had taken a trip there and gone to some events, and he happens to run into her there, and he buys one of her books, and right away they have a connection, and you can just see it through their eyes. But this is where the little London boy intervenes. Now, earlier in the movie, this boy, I guess he's like 11 or 12, he has a twin brother, and the twin brother gets hit by a car and is killed. Now these boys were very, very, very close, and This boy is missing his brother so badly, he just needs answers on what's happened to him. And, you know, he gets placed in foster parents. There's a side story here where his mother's got issues with drugs and stuff, and social services is taking him away, and he's living with, like, in foster care. Anyway, he does research on the internet, and he's looking for all these people who are psychics, and he goes to talk to some of them, and nothing really pans out there. And he sees Matt Damon at this book signing thing, and so he follows Matt Damon, and Matt Damon's like, you know, I don't want anything to do with this. I don't do readings for people anymore. But this boy keeps following him around, and he follows Matt Damon to his hotel, and he just waits outside all day and all night until Matt Damon comes out. Of course, Matt Damon sees him out in the freezing cold. Eventually says, alright, come in, I'll do a reading for you. And he does a reading for the boy, and they get to talk to his brother, and he's saying he's okay, and he wants his brother, you know, not to miss him so much, that he's gonna have to be on his own now. And the boy seems somewhat satisfied with this, but he ends up calling Matt Damon, and he tells Matt Damon where this girl is, this French girl, what hotel she's staying at. Somehow he knows, the boy knows, and he sensed that Matt Damon liked this girl, and he wants to help out Matt Damon. Matt Damon had lost touch with her at the book reading. So the story starts to end, and what we find out is Matt Damon goes to the hotel. She's not there. He writes her a nice long letter. You know, lets the hotel know that please send this letter. Give it a message. They slip the message under the door. She reads it. She's smiling, and she likes what she's reading. She goes out and looks for Matt Damon. Apparently he wrote meet me somewhere, and we find him sitting outside of the table, and she's looking around, and he spots her across a crowd, and she sees him. They meet, and they sit down and talk. Camera fades away, and that's how the story ends. Supposedly we're going to assume that they're going to get together. You know, it ends up being a love story, and that's how the movie ends. So even though these three characters start off on their own separate stories, they all intertwined in the end to make all this possible, so Matt Damon and his girl could be together. What a happy ending. And those are my spoilers for Hereafter.